On this edition of Awaken the Wonder, I'm not one to typically talk about politics or political figures, but I recently had an interesting vision about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome to Awaken the Wonder podcast with me, your host, Evangelist Caleb Wampler of Kingdom Encounters International. I've seen hundreds of thousands of people come to salvation in Jesus in countries hostile to the gospel, witnessed impossible miracles, and regularly experience God's wonder. This show is an outflow of my life in ministry in the nations. Tune in weekly to hear miracle testimonies and encouraging stories from the fields of harvest from both me and my global ministry network. As we journey ahead, may you hunger for God as never before and awaken the wonder of your relationship with Jesus. Did you know I have a brand new book out called Hunger? It's a riveting collection of heavenly encounters, and my friend, you cannot be the same after opening up and reading its pages. Hunger not only chronicles the encounters of men of God that have gone before and throughout history, but it is also a heavenly encounter itself. I myself list my heavenly encounters in there, and I know it will stir your faith. You're going to have an intensifying passion to seek and commune with the Lord, a growing burden for souls as you ignite that with the heart of Christ, a heightened awareness of the eternal that will inspire an impassioned pursuit of heavenly treasure. My friend, not only will your faith be stirred in God and strengthened, but your love for Him will be deepened. You need to get this book today, and you can get it on Amazon or on kingdomencounters.us or wherever books are sold. My friends, go on there today again and get your book, Hunger. I know it's going to be a blessing to you. Foreword written by Evangelist Daniel Kalenda with endorsements from those such as Carlos Anacondia, Jeannie Mayo, Brian Guerin, Dr. Scott Hagan, and so many more. Again, go on Amazon today or to kingdomencounters.us and get a copy of Hunger today. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition here of Awaken the Wonder. And this episode is going to be really brief and really short, but I'm going to tell you a vision I recently had of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm not one that typically talks about politics. I do think it's important that we do our part to be who we can be as a citizen. God did say, through Jesus, to give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, give to God what is God's. And so it's important that we are active, that we exercise our rights to vote and do what we can to be a positive influence in our community through that action. However, I typically just kind of stay out of the mix when it comes to these types of things because everybody gets so divided through these situations. But I had a very vivid vision recently, and I did want to share it. I'm not even going to go into all the details of what it means. I'm not talking about who the president is or was or who should be or whatever. I'm just simply saying what I saw. You can read it for what it is, and you can take it and leave it for what it is and decide what it means for yourself. I saw a vehicle driving down a Florida highway and it appeared to be the Florida Turnpike. In the vehicle, Kamala Harris was driving and Joe Biden was in the passenger seat. As they were driving, a Florida state trooper was in the median, and as they passed the police officer, the officer then pulled out and pulled them over. When the officer got to the window, he said, "Do you realize that you were speeding tonight?" And Kamala said, with a giant smile and a sense of overconfidence, "Don't you know who we are?" And the officer said, "I sure do." He looked over at Joe Biden and then he said, "In fact, Joe Biden, I voted for you." No matter who you are, though, you have to follow the rules that are set in place. The officer continued, "The speed limit on this road is 77, and you were going 88. He said, "This citation requires you to appear in court." Kamala then asked if they could just pay the citation, before the officer replied that this citation required an appearance in court. There are a lot of interesting facets to this vision, and while I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it, I did want to just point out that, again, this is a vision. This isn't something that actually happened, but it could be a sign of something that's in the spirit. I felt it's important to share with you so that you'll be praying. My initial reaction was that they were speeding, rushing to arrive where they were headed. They got caught along the way, though. The speed limit was 77, and I know 7 to be a number of completion. If you notice, when God created the garden, created the earth, He rested on the seventh day, and then He was rested and said it was good and satisfied. So we know 7 to be a number of completion, and when it's doubled up, it's an added emphasis, or it means completion. Then there was this other element where they were going 88, but the speed limit was 77. I believe that it meant that 7 was a day of completion, and that this was the intended plan that God had set up. I believe it was relating to what was going on with everything with the election and Donald Trump and Kamala and Joe and the whole bit. But they were speeding at 88. 8 is a number that's known to represent new beginnings. Why? Because it's the start of a second week. 8 is the number, again, doubled up. I believe it's an added emphasis that they were speeding towards new beginnings, but broke the law in getting there. They happened to be going 11 over the speed limit. I also found that interesting because 11 is meant to be a number of transition and even judgment. They were headed towards transition, but got caught in the process. While the interpretation can mean a number of things, my sense was that there is a judgment day coming. Now, whether whoever it is that's president or whoever it is that was voted for or whatever you did, that's really not the point. This is what I sensed the Lord was speaking in this season. The court date had been set. The citation had been issued. It didn't mean one person was going to win or not win, but it did sense that this was something that had been set in the heavens. I also found it interesting, though, that Kamala was doing the driving. It wasn't Joe. I don't know if you have any further thoughts to add to this, but I'd love to hear your feedback from today's episode. Make sure you email us at info@kingdomencounters.us. Again, info@kingdomencounters.us. You can go on to the Evangelist Caleb Wampler Facebook page. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your feedback on what you think it means. Again, this was a vision that the Lord showed me, and I would love to know what the Lord's put on your heart regarding anything that's going on right now. And again, as I normally stay out of politics and these type of situations, I realized that I wouldn't have held this back if it was any other vision, so why not share this one? I know it's related to current events, but my friends, I'd love to hear your thoughts today. Again, that's info@kingdomencounters.us. Many blessings to you and your family today. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Awaken the Wonder. If you enjoyed today's show and want more ministry like this, please visit kingdomencounters.us, where you can find weekly blogs and my latest book, Hunger. Be sure to subscribe and follow me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at the tag Evangelist Caleb Wampler. If the Lord leads you to partner with us in the nations in prayer and giving, visit kingdomencounters.us. I'll see you next time.